with the 5.2-liter Voodoo engine.
Oh,
Gorgeous carbon fiber wheels, my man. The wheels are made out of
oh,
carbon fiber. The whole wheel is carbon fiber.
And we're
really?
live.
Yeah, the whole freaking wheel is carbon fiber. I mean, explain that to me. Wow. That's
Sheesh.
Ferrari level stuff right there, my friend.
That's pretty astonishing, actually.
Yeah. All right, CJ, let's go live before we start talking about cars. It's the wrong show.
Go for it.
Hey, everyone, it's me.
Wrong show, wrong day.
What? What? Who? Where? What? Are we live?
We're live. Go for it.
Oh, we are live. Okay, cool, everyone. It's me coming to you live with my main man, W. And W's got to break down some news for us real quick. We're just talking about cars because me and him are gearheads. We were just detailing that the Shelby GT350R's wheels, its rims are made out of carbon fiber. And if you are a gearhead like us, that is major nerdwood right there, man. Anyway, being said, W, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good. Just watching the news, and you know, I'm still hiding underneath my desk.
Why?
Well, they taught us to do that when I was in grade school.
Oh, yes.
In case the bomb is coming, hide under your desk. You know, when you come out from underneath it, everything's going to be totally obliterated. You know, you're going to be fighting over who gets which can of leftover pineapples. But beyond that, you know, just hide under your desk. Everything's going to be fine.
That's
the teacher
it,
will tell you what to do.
That's it, and that's why, you know, I've been following some of our cohorts in alt media, and I've been listening to them secretly, I must admit, and I've bought some a 10-year supply of freeze-dried bananas.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
Lots of potassium.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Personally, then I could have my bananas and milk. So get your freeze-dried milk too. Don't forget to get that.
Absolutely, man. That's very important.
Yeah. It's a nice nighttime snack. Put yourself to sleep after all the chaos and mayhem.
Exactly, man. So what's going on, brother?
Well, people are watching what's going on in the Mideast. And of course, you may recall I mentioned that I was very concerned about November 22nd. Obviously, Putin was very concerned about that also because, amazingly enough, all of his actions that he took in the 2 weeks after the air attack on Riyadh from the Houthis with missiles and the initial resignation and then unresignation of Harari out of Lebanon.
Yeah.
Putin orchestrated all of his meetings to focus on the 22nd, where the final most important meeting took place in Sochi, where he brought Assad up there and spoke with him directly in person. And it looks like what occurred there was that he directly short-circuited what was intended as a dust-up conflagration on the 22nd. Now, the other thing that's going on is that that still is, it may have been put off, but it hasn't been stopped. So when Putin flew down to Syria the other day and announced that they were withdrawing some of their forces and aircraft, you have to think about what's going on. Putin's coming up for re-election. And so he wants to have his people, similar to what George Bush II did. He wants to, you know, announce that they've got some kind of victory. But the other side of the coin is also he doesn't want his aircraft, doesn't want $3 billion worth of aircraft and his special forces in harm's way when this next step actually occurs, because while he bought some time and pushed it off, he didn't get agreement between all the parties. And so it's very likely there's going to be some kind of a conflict very shortly. The Israelis have been pushing people's buttons every time something happens. And of course, Hamas and Hezbollah are trying to oblige by, you know, sending missiles over into Israel, you know, several a day at this point in time. So it's only a matter of days probably before there's some type of an actual real exchange where Israel goes in and starts really going after Hezbollah and Hamas. And that won't, it's not World War III, but these events that are happening right now are the lead up to World War III, because then everybody's going to have to start ramping up. Once this next dust up happens, then Putin can turn around and say, well, we got to go back and make peace, be the peacemaker, and take the high ground. But he's getting his assets out of the way for the time being, and people should kind of be aware of that. The other thing that's occurring here that is very disconcerting, our ally for quite some time, Israel's ally, was Turkey. Turkey is going to the Iranian side, and the reason is because Iran wants to recreate their Persian Empire, and the way they intend to do that is to get this roadway, this land bridge, all the way back to Lebanon from Iran, across northern Syria, and across northern Iraq. And that goes to an area that's occupied currently by the Kurds, who we have been protecting and supporting, the Christian Kurds up there. And Turkey is adamantly against that, because this huge group of people, these Kurds, want to make for themselves essentially a Kurdish nation, similar to what Israel is in the minds of these various leaders. They see this Kurdish region as the next Israel, and Israel has been supporting these people in the Kurdish region. So, with that in mind, if the Kurds are a threat to Turkey, Turkey's going to take Iran's side. Iran feels that they're a threat. So that's going to be probably the proximate cause when we have to step back in this. And of course, that's where we've put our troops, is that they're supposedly protecting these Kurdish regions in northeastern Syria. So the troops that we have on Syrian soil, probably technically, easily, arguably in violation of international law, are in that Kurdish region. So I don't know. I mean, I know for most people that aren't following it day to day, it starts to get to be gobbledygook. But this is a big deal.
I thought the Kurds gave up their whole little Kurdistan aspirations. I mean, they've been checkmated hard body. They gave up the oil fields that were holding on to northern Syria. They vacated the premises. So I don't know what these guys are going to do now.
Well, again, there's agreements that are made, backing down that's done, that's convenient at a moment, but doesn't mean that they've backed off. It just means that they've backed off for the moment. And the reality is that this is going to come back with a passion, and it's going to have to be dealt with. They're not going to look. You have several million people there that are in harm's way, that are under threat every single day. And if Turkey is going to go after them and bomb them with jets that the U.S. sold them, they're going to fight back, and we're going to have to fight back. So we're in this catch-22 situation. We cannot back off, and none of the players involved can back off. What's Kurdistan just going to stand there and let themselves be killed?
Say again?
I mean, are the Kurdistan people just going to stand there and let themselves be killed? They can't.
No. I mean, these are nomads. God knows where they'll wind up. But that original
they lived in that whole region across there. It's a huge region, hundreds of miles across, and there's 30 to 40 million Kurds that live there, and they are one ethnic group, but they span Iran, Turkey, northern Iraq, and Syria, and they live in that region, and they're under threat. The only country that had classically been protecting them was Syria, Assad, and Assad's being wiped out. So, he's coming back, but at the end of the day, Turkey That was part of the reason they got involved in the conflict in the first place. For the Israelis, they want Syria and these other regions further divided. And so helping the Kurds helps to further divide that region.
Mm-hmm. Got it. I see what you're saying. So what do you think is gonna happen here?
Well, probably the next window, and it's not exact. There's no guarantee. Nothing's been said that says it with exacting precision. But the next likely window for some type of a major military outburst is the 17th to the 26th of December.
Okay.
It has to do with ritual reasons, if you will, but it's the next window for a big dust up. And once the Israelis engage, it's a big deal because the part of the issue is this: Hezbollah is on a track.
W, your audio is breaking up on us.
W, your audio is terrible. It's muy terrible. W?
W there? W, if you can hear us, we can't pick up your audio, so you might want to maybe click the link to rejoin in.
W.
See if you click back in.
Hello. Hello. He is not here.
Until he gets back in, did you, from the show topics that I sent this morning, did you see where the Iran now has joined the EU and pretty much kind of safeguarding itself? That's a pretty big change there, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's massive. It's a very big change. Is he back on?
Not yet.
Huh.
Let me send him a text real quick and let him know that. We lost your audio. It's your response. It was weird. I tried calling him earlier, and it went straight to voicemail a couple of times. So I wonder if there's some type of interference there where he is today.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of weird things that are going on right now.
Yeah, I was watching some of the FCC hearing on the net neutrality, and
that guy's such a dork. The guy, Ajit Pai.
Did you see that they had to exit the room because there was a security scare? Yeah, they had to pause the meeting, and they ordered everyone out. Like 12 or 15 security people came in and said, "Don't take anything with you. Leave your cameras, your purse, your phone. Leave everything here. Don't take anything." And they were not playing games either. Wow. I think that So I think that meeting may have restarted. There he is.
All right, give me a second here to get this over to the right thing here. Get it on the.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. That won't happen. All right, so we can start back up whenever you want.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Kurds, and Assad is the one protecting them. Assad was getting blown away. He's not anymore. Operations in Syria, pretty much, it's done. ISIS's back has been broken. Vlad right now is flying over to Libya to clean up the mess over there. How does this all play out in the current situation?
Well, all that's going to happen is that we're going to see a flare-up because the Israelis and we here in the West want to get Iran to move before they're ready. We want to get Hezbollah and Hamas to move before they're ready in a year and a half. If you wait until they're fully positioned to engage Israel, then you're going to lose a lot more people, a lot more stuff. So the whole idea is to get them to act prematurely when the battlefield prefers us. And that's now. That's not in a year and a half. The other side of the coin is we're not exactly ready either, but we're more ready than they are. That all being said, that's why I say this is going to be a dust up for the time being. Putin's getting out of the way. They're all going to try to, not do it. But this is where the Jerusalem thing comes in. What Trump is doing is trying to wave a red flag in front of this Hezbollah bull and get them to charge prematurely, get the Muslim Islamic world all riled up and get pressure on their leaders to act first, which is what these missiles being lobbed into Israel are about right now over the last several days. If they can get them to do things that Israel can then justifiably respond to, then maybe they can build this up big enough to justify some type of a regional war into Syria and into Lebanon to go after these Hezbollah assets, all these missiles. Hezbollah has somewhere around 150,000 missiles of various capabilities spread out all across Syria and Lebanon. Those missiles, if they were unleashed in mass, would be very difficult for Israel's anti-missile systems to engage. Now, not all of the missiles, these ones that are being fired right now are relatively low-tech missiles, and they're not, a lot of them don't even reach any place that matters. So a lot of these missiles are, relatively inexpensive little missiles, and the easiest thing is just to let them go and let them hit wherever they hit, just get out of the way, get in the shelter. But some of them are really dangerous. And if you wait a year and a half, Iran could very well have the bomb and attach it. You get, 1,000 missiles headed your way, and one of them has a nuclear device on it. You're going to be able to pick that one out of the crowd. That maybe it's going to fall and not be in a horrible bad spot, but if it's a nuclearized weapon, that could be the one that really does, damage well beyond what you were expecting. So that's again part of the concern. Now, Israel isn't going to engage using its men as much. This is going to be the first drone war, this dust up that we're having right now. Israel's in position to use more drones than have ever been used. War? Drone.
It was like an episode of Star Wars.
You got it. That's what this dust up is going to be. You're going to see the first large scale mechanized force on the ground and in the air of drones being applied in these hot spots that Israel's going to go after. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be fairly involved. It'll be a good chance for them to test all of those systems that they've been developing. And they have the most advanced drone army, if you will, of any military on the planet at this point in time.
With the Israelis?
Yes. So it will be a big deal. Everybody will be watching it to see how well it works. And if they've got a prayer, this drone force is going to very effectively help them to keep their injuries down while applying, real pressure to the enemy.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
So, yeah.
Great analysis, my man. Great analysis. We got about 5 minutes left. You want to break down what your closing? Would you give out your closing statements? and what you think is going to happen?
Well, for the markets, for us here in the West, this ends up being kind of a distraction to us. We've got a, whole bunch of things going on with the budget and with Bitcoin and the dollar and everything else. But at the end of the day, remember this: our soft underbelly is the Saudi petrodollar. Saudi Arabia is under attack at several levels from this Iran group out of the Yemen area. Saudi Arabia started it, just like we started the Syrian war. Mm-hmm. We concocted this rebel force out of whole cloth for the most part, and went in there and dismantled Egypt, dismantled Libya, dismantled that whole region, right, and sent these guerrilla fighters in there, created ISIS for a pretext to go after Assad and take Assad down and break it up on behalf of the Israelis and the Saudis. Mm-hmm. Now we have not succeeded there. And so, like water sloshing in a tub, the payback's coming. And that payback is not going to be symmetrical. It's not going to be just a militarized response. The response by Russia and Iran and China is going to be on the dollar. Mm. And our ability to use the dollar in international oil trades and other transactions.
Yeah, that's about to be killed in the next few weeks.
Yes. Well, this will be a long dismantling. It won't be a singular event.
Right.
But it's the death of 1,000 razor slashes. I actually expect the dollar to get stronger short term. But ultimately, a lot of that's because of what's going to be played into the dollar to provide a facade of strength. The reality is the dollar is under an attack that, is going to be very devastating over the next couple of years. And so people need to be looking at other alternatives for how they're holding their cash. And the question is, is it other currencies, metals, stuff that you actually could use, or Bitcoin, other things? Whatever it is, it probably, you need to have an exit plan, as Drudge said, and you need to be thinking about alternatives if you're denominating your wealth
right
in the form of dollars. And you want to do it before everybody else is trying to do it, not afterwards. So it doesn't mean there's probably one solution. There's probably any real protection involves several ways of doing it. And the other side of the coin is, do you want to make yourself unviable in the short term? You need to probably still be doing stuff dollar-based, trades and like that. But you need to start working away a path to not be right in the line of fire as this whole thing comes dismantled.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Very well said, sir. Very well said. W, thank you so much for being on with us. It's a short amount of time that we had. We had some technical difficulties. In fact, there's technical difficulties going on everywhere. I don't know what's going on with the internet. But we got to definitely have you back on again for a more lengthy time, without a doubt.
Well, the holidays will be interesting, to say the least. So 17th to 26th is the next window that this could really start to come unraveled there and draw our attention. And, just like November 22nd, I think that's the next window, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, folks, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.